Yes.
She has a toddler with her. We were to try, she may have to bring the toddler in with her. That's the only, so far she won't go to anybody else. But I don't have any other answer for that.
All right, well, we need to preserve the ability of the jury to focus on the important matters at hand, so I don't want the proceedings disrupted, but if that's the least disruptive way of handling things, then I guess we can try it.
I can just check 1 minute and see if she has gone to my legal cell.
All right. You look like a popular figure.
My granddaughter thinks I'm fine.
There you go.
Your Honor, if I may have Ms. Haynes come on in so she'll be out of sight of the baby.
Fine.
Just sit right there to start and then you go up to the...
Good.
I think we're good.
All right, very good. Is there anything else we need to take up outside the presence of the jury?
Not for the state, Your Honor.
Not in the defense.
All right, very good. If you'll bring jurors in, please. All right, thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Do you have everything? All right. Very good. Let's then proceed. Ms. Franks, further evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. The state will call Sakia Haynes to the stand. Mr. Redmond, raise your right, please.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you now give the court in case now being heard shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please have a seat.
Ms. Franks?
Thank you. Ma'am, first off, if you just pull up close to the mic and speak loud enough that the jury can hear you. If you will tell the jury your name and then spell it for the court reporter.
Sakia Haynes, first name A-Y-K-I-A, last H-A-N-E-S.
And where do you live, ma'am?
1107 Dayton Street.
In April of 2011, where did you live?
Country Scenes Apartments.
Did you know Reginald Day?
Yes, I did.
Where was your apartment in relation to Reginald Day's apartment?
Right next door.
What separated your apartment from his apartment?
A wall.
How long do you know that he lived there?
I guess more than 6 months.
Did you get to know Reginald Day?
We communicated with each other.
Did you ever see the defendant at Mr. Day's apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
How often did you see the defendant at Mr. Day's apartment?
Quite often.
Do you know whether she was living with him at any time or not?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever see Reggie and the defendant interact with each other?
Not really seeing them, but by hearing them, yes.
When you say you heard them, where were you when you would hear them?
In my apartment.
And can you tell the jury how you would know you were hearing either Reggie or the defendant?
I pretty much know. I recognized her voice and recognized Reggie's voice.
And what would draw your attention to their voices in your apartment?
Because we'll get a thump on the wall, like somebody just got thrown in the wall or something hit the wall. They constantly set off our alarms in our apartment.
And could you tell who was throwing stuff or doing anything like that?
No, I couldn't.
And how often was this?
Mostly we heard it mostly on the weekends.
Now, did you ever hear the defendant yell or anything like that to Reggie?
Yes,
And when would this be?
when they had like an altercation in the house.
Could you ever tell how any of these altercations or arguments would start?
No.
Now, what would happen, either you would see happen or hear happen, whenever these would start, these altercations?
I see Reggie leave the apartment or I see her leave the apartment.
Now, were you home on April the 3rd, 2011?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you see and hear on that night?
I heard a lot of yelling and screaming with the both of them. We heard the bumping against the wall, of course, because it set off the alarm. So I got up that night and went to the front door, looked through the peephole, and I seen like a wreath that was hanging and it was laying on the ground actually, on the little patio outside. Then all of a sudden I heard his door open. I seen Reggie go past my door to get to the steps to go down the steps. Several moments after, I seen the defendant come out, and she came back again to the apartment. All of a sudden, I was just like, okay. I woke my husband up, told him, trying to figure out what was going on. He looked out the door. He said he seen Reggie again, and he went the opposite way. From that on, we were just hearing a whole bunch of arguing and screaming, bumping against the wall.
Okay, did you ever hear the defendant say anything?
I didn't hear her say anything out of not the normal, but just cussing and fussing. Other than that, I never heard her scream for any help or anything like that.
When you saw her come out, did she say anything to you then?
No, I was looking through the peephole. She didn't see me.
At any time did you open the door and see her in the apartment doorway?
No.
Do you remember talking to me earlier?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember talking to me earlier over the phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you ever say anything about the defendant opening the door, saying everything is fine, and then slamming the door?
Objection leading.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
If you take a moment and think about it, whether you heard the defendant say anything or saw her say anything that night.
Well, it wasn't the defendant that was, yes, it was the defendant that did say, she did say everything was okay, but she never spoke it to me. She spoke it to my baby father at the time.
After she said that, what did she do?
She went back into the apartment.
Now, where was Reggie at this time?
I never seen him come back to the apartment. I went on the patio. My patio is actually facing the parking lot, so we can see everything from the left and the right side. I never seen Reggie come back.
So he'd already left at this point.
He had already left. She was the only one that was there.
And after she went back inside, did you ever see her come back out?
I didn't go back to the peephole no more. We didn't. We kind of just pretty much left it alone. We kind of thought it was their normal thing.
When you saw Reggie go by the door, did you notice anything about him?
No, you can't really see too much his full body besides just his face or anything that was different wrong with him that made us feel like, we needed to call help or anything. We just thought it was their normal thing.
Now, did you hear Reggie say anything?
No, not really. It's just a bunch of, I did hear him say, leave me alone, or get the hell out, I'm sorry, but that was pretty much it.
Did you ever hear him call for help or ask for any assistance?
No, I didn't.
Do you remember whether you saw any blood or not that night?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
The night he ran down the steps.
What did you see?
I seen blood. When we opened the door, we seen blood that was on the railing going down the stairs.
Was that after Reggie ran down the steps?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, after Reggie left and the defendant went back inside, did you hear any other noise coming from the apartment?
No, ma'am.
Whenever you heard these arguments, could you tell who was starting them?
We always thought she was starting, but like I said, it was hearsay, and I don't live in the apartment. But we kind of heard both of them, so we don't know how it started.
You said that you had heard him say, leave me alone, get the hell out. Did you ever hear him say anything else?
No.
And other than the fact that she said everything is fine, did you ever hear her say anything else?
No.
How often would you say you had seen the defendant and Reggie together?
Seeing them together, probably I can count on one hand probably 3 times. You always seen them separate. He's normally at work, and I never seen if she was working or not. You just kind of see her when she comes with the kids, and she pretty much leaves.
Had you ever seen Reggie with any other women?
So we see Reggie with a lot of women, but not saying that was dealing with him. He was just a friendly guy. He talked to a lot of people.
Other than with the defendant, did you ever see Reggie in any type of fights or arguments with women?
No.
And did you ever see the defendant again after she went back into the apartment?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. No further questions.
Mr. Meyer, cross-examine.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ms. Haynes. So you have indicated that you heard, more than on just this night, you heard frequent arguing between the both of them, correct?
Yes.
And you heard frequent thumps into the wall as if somebody was getting slammed into the wall,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And it would set off your alarm, correct?
Yes.
This was not an uncommon thing for that between these two?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Franks.
Ma'am, did you ever hear anything being thrown or broken or anything like that?
Yes.
Could you tell who was doing it on any of these occasions?
No.
Who did you hear yelling the most?
The defendant.
No further questions, Your
Mr. Meyer, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Honor. Your Honor, the state would ask that Ms. Haynes be released.
Any objections?
No.
Ma'am, you're released from your subpoena. You're free to go. Thank you. Further evidence for the state?
Not today, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the evidence for today, and so we'll go into recess until 9:30 tomorrow morning. I'll tell you, just for planning purposes, I believe we are on track with the schedule that I predicted for you earlier in this case. So I'll let you know that. The rules I've been reciting to you continue to be very important. Please don't talk about this case among yourselves or with anyone else. Please don't form or express any opinions about the outcome. No media or independent investigation regarding these matters. And please have no communications or conversations with parties, witnesses, or lawyers. If you'll leave your notebooks in your chairs, we'll hold those safe for you overnight, and we'll resume tomorrow morning at 9:30. Thank you very much for your service. Everyone else, please remain seated.